We often hear about major global organizations, G20, where the world's leading economies gather to discuss global policies. Or more recently, BRICS, an alliance of emerging nations on the rise. And of course, the United Nations, a symbol of global unity. But amidst these powerful names, have you ever thought about the less developed nations? Where do they stand in this grand picture? The world has many organizations to amplify the voices of the rich and powerful. But what about the weaker, poorer nations? Do they have a seat at the table? Or are they merely supporting characters in the global development story? Now, what if these less developed countries stood up, united, and took control of their own destiny? Imagine a new organization, not to compete with the superpowers, but to safeguard the interests of the vulnerable and create a more sustainable future. Today, we'll envision this organization, Nations United for Progress, or NUP. How would it function? Is this dream even feasible? And more importantly, could this be the beacon of hope for nations struggling with poverty, inequality, and climate change? Let's dive in and explore this idea together. As of December 2024, there are 44 countries classified by the United Nations as the least developed countries, or LDCs. Most of them are in sub-Saharan Africa, South Asia, and small island nations. Together, these countries account for about 13% of the global population, but contribute less than 1% of the world's GDP. So, what makes their struggle so difficult? Let's start with a fundamental issue: poverty. According to the World Bank, approximately 75% of people in LDCs live in extreme poverty. They lack not only money, but also opportunities to access education, healthcare, and employment. Education, often seen as the key to breaking the cycle of poverty, is a significant challenge. In many LDCs, adult literacy rates are only about 60%, compared to nearly 100% in developed nations. Weak infrastructure worsens the situation. In some regions, less than 20% of the population has access to reliable electricity. Outdated transportation systems make moving goods and connecting to the outside world a daunting challenge. And we can't overlook climate change. Paradoxically, the countries that emit the least carbon are the ones suffering the most from its consequences. Floods, droughts, and rising sea levels are displacing millions, robbing them of their homes and livelihoods. According to a United Nations report, 90% of those affected by natural disasters come from LDCs. These are not just numbers, they represent real lives, people fighting to survive every day. These challenges are not just isolated issues for individual nations. They're a stark reminder that there are still many parts of the world crying out for change. So how can these nations unite and rise above their struggles? The answer lies in the next chapter. Imagine a world where weaker nations are no longer forgotten. A new organization, named Nations United for Progress, or NUP, could serve as the bridge that connects them to create meaningful change. The objectives of NUP are clear: eradicate poverty, promote sustainable development, and amplify the voices of smaller nations on the global stage. But how would such an organization operate? NUP's members would consist of the countries classified as LDCs, as discussed earlier. Looking at the map of 44 LDCs, most in Africa are located in sub-Saharan regions. While these nations are part of regional economic groups like ECOWAS, Economic Community of West African States, EAC, East African Community, or ECCCASC, Economic Community of Central African States. These organizations often play a limited role in fostering real economic collaboration. In South Asia, the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, SAARC, has similarly fallen short due to political and religious divisions, leaving the LDCs in the region with minimal opportunities for joint development. This is why a global organization connecting LDCs across continents is crucial, one that transcends political barriers and religious differences to pursue shared growth. To achieve its goals, NUP would focus on three primary strategies: sharing resources, establishing a development fund, and advancing education and technology. For example, member countries could share resources in mutually beneficial ways. A nation in Africa with abundant freshwater could partner with an island nation struggling with rising sea levels, exchanging water for fisheries products. Niger and Tuvalu could exemplify such a partnership. NUP would also create a shared development fund where nations contribute according to their capacity and receive support based on their needs. While it may sound ambitious, this fund could finance essential projects such as schools, hospitals, and modern transportation systems. Education and technology would be at the heart of NUP's mission. The organization could connect universities, research institutions, and training centers across member nations, facilitating knowledge sharing and educational opportunities for younger generations. If effective, NUP could not only improve the lives of hundreds of millions, but also pave the way for a fairer world where no one is left behind. But is such an organization truly feasible? Its success would depend on many factors, from the unity of its member nations to overcoming internal challenges. What does the future hold for this vision? Let's explore further in the next segment. Imagine a world where small yet ambitious nations no longer rely on the mercy of global superpowers. A world where nations united for progress, NUP, has evolved into a formidable bloc, not only self-reliant, but also actively shaping the global future. In this envisioned world, NUP member nations have built a robust intra-bloc trade system. No longer dependent on developed countries, they trade among themselves, leveraging unique strengths. For instance, Rwanda exports high-quality coffee, Tuvalu provides seafood, while Nepal contributes traditional handicrafts. Intra-bloc trade has done more than just boost their economies. It has fostered unity among members, narrowed wealth gaps, and bolstered economic resilience. Once fragmented and struggling, NUP has now become a unified and powerful voice on the international stage. In negotiations on trade, climate change, or global security, NUP commands respect and plays a key role thanks to its solidarity and shared strategy. Challenges like climate change, poverty, and resource scarcity persist, but rather than succumbing, NUP has found ways to confront and overcome them. Its members are now leaders in renewable energy use, smart agriculture, and sustainable infrastructure development. Take Tuvalu, for example, a nation once on the brink of vanishing due to rising sea levels. Today, it stands as a global symbol of resilience and innovation, equipped with advanced seawater management systems and a thriving green economy. We've seen the potential of an organization like Nations United for Progress, but turning that dream into reality likely requires more than just willpower and vision. Imagine a room filled with leaders from across the globe, each carrying their own dreams, strategies, and interests. The first challenge: differences in culture, politics, and economics among developing countries. For example, while one nation might prioritize education, another could focus on basic infrastructure, like clean water and electricity. The next challenge is resources. How can countries already struggling to feed their populations contribute to a shared development fund? According to UN reports, many developing countries currently account for less than 1% of global GDP. This limits their ability to sustain themselves, meaning NUP would need to seek funding from international organizations or wealthier nations. And finally, trust, a major hurdle that no organization can ignore. History is full of alliances with lofty ambitions that fell apart due to internal disagreements. For many developing nations, scarred by histories of colonialism and inequality, trusting a new organization might not come easily. How can NUP ensure fairness and prevent benefits from favoring only a select few? Our world, vast and complex as it is built from countless small pieces. A single idea can ignite the spark that leads to monumental change. Nations United for Progress isn't just a dream. It could be the first step for developing nations to shape their own future. Imagine a day when once forgotten names become symbols of unity and progress. Do you believe that's possible? If so, let's spread this idea together. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and see you in the next video.